Hello friends, welcome back to Simple Coder. We are back with a video. In this video, we will learn how we can create the news application with our Flutter application and the APIs in the Node.js. And this is our application. You can see here we are having a search bar here. Then we are having all the categories here. Then we are getting the latest news here. And then we are getting the category for the around the world news here. Now suppose if we click any of the category like technology, you can see the news will come according to that category. And if we change it to sports, then it will show the news related to that sports only. And when we click any of the news here, you can see here the detailed page of the news will come here. All we do with the APIs in the Node.js and the front end of the application we will do in the Flutter application. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, we have to create the APIs and we have the API folder here. And what we will do, we will initialize the APIs here. We'll put here cd API and here we will write npm initialize and we will press enter here and it will ask for the package name. We will press enter and then again enter and we will put here yes. Now our package.json is created here. Now we have to add some of the packages which are required. Our body parser dot environment, then we have the express and the mongoose. We will write here npm install body parser space dot in, then we have the express, then we have our mongoose and we will press enter here. It will add all the packages here. You can see here all the packages added here. So now we have to create the environment file here and we will click here new file dot environment dot env, and this file will be used for picking the environment setting from this file only. And we will put here port is equal to 4500. We will pick the port from this file and then we have to pick also the MongoDB path and all. We will put here mongo underscore URI is equal to MongoDB colon / localhost colon 27017 / and name of our database newsdb. So this file will include all the configurations from our application for the APIs and all. And first one we are putting here port number, then the MongoDB URL. Then here we have to create one folder. We will click here new folder. We will write here config and inside that we have to put the db.js file and here we have to write the code for connecting to our DB. And first of all we have to import here constant mongoose is equal to required / mongoose. Then here we will write constant connect db is equal to async and we will write the code here for connecting to our DB and we will put inside our try catch error and here we will write here constant connection is equal to await mongoose dot connect and here we will write process dot env dot and here we have to open this file and we will copy this name and we will paste here. So what it will do, it will pick the mongoose URL from our environment file. Here we will write comma, then the brackets. Here we will write use new URL parser true, use unified topology true, and after that we will just write a console.log MongoDB connected and we will put the host name here con.connection.host. In the catch also we will write here console.error and we will put here the error message, whatever the error we are getting, error, and here we will write error dot message and we will end the process here in case of the any error process dot exit, and here we have to export this module dot exports is equal to connect db. So what we did here, we have created the file for the db.js file, and there we are doing the connection to our database, and we are write the function here connect db, and inside that we are just doing the connection to our database by using the environment file also for that URL for the MongoDB. And on the success we are putting here mess in the console, that is MongoDB connected, and the host name we are showing here, and the catch we are just showing the whatever the error we are getting, and then we are exit the process here, and here we are just export this function here. So now let's move further, and first of all we will create our model file here, and first of all we have to create the folder here, and we'll put here models. Inside that we will create the file here news model.js file. Here also we will import constant mongoose is equal to require, and we will put the package name here mongoose, and here we will create the schema here constant new scheme is equal to mongoose dot schema, and here we have to create the variables here. First one is the title, news title, and type will be string, and the required we are putting here true, and we'll put the message here title is required. After that we have the description here, and type will be string. After that we have the content here, type will be string. Then we have the image URL, type will be string. After that the category, news category we are putting here category, and the type will be string. And we can create the enum for this category here enum, and we will put here technology, and the second one will be sports, third one will be health, and the last one will be our business category. And we will make it as a required here, and we'll put here true. Then also we will put the message here category is required. After that we have the created at date, type will be date, and default value we are picking from our date.now. Then also we have one field that is source, and source will be for our whatever the news source is from where we have copied this news, and we will put here source, type will be string. And also we will put the date timestamp here, timestamps true. So now we will put the schema inside our model, and we'll write here constant news is equal to mongoose dot model, and we put the name here news, and here we will write new schema. And after that we will export here module dot exports is equal to news. So what we did here, we have created the model file here for the news, and we have the title, description, content, image URL, then we have the category here. After that we have the created at whatever the date we have created on. Then we have the timestamp here, and before that we have the source here, source of the news. After that we are just putting the schema inside our model, and we are just exporting here. So now we have to create one folder for the routes here, routes, and we will create the file here news route.js. So we will just create the two routes here. First one is for getting the news, and second one is for creating the news. And we have to import here constant express is equal to require express, constant router is equal to express dot router. Then we have the constant news is equal to require, and we have to import the file here for the model/news model. So now we have to create the router here, router dot get request. We have the /async require comma here, this is the request, and here the response here, Inside that we have the getting the parameters from this API. First one will be the page is equal to 1. Default value we are putting here 1. And then we have the limit, how many news we have to show to the per request of the API. And we are putting here 10. And then we have the category. Here we have to remove this extra equal to. And here we will put the keyword. This will be used for searching purpose. Is equal to request dot query. All these variables coming from the query string. Then we are creating the query here. Query is equal to empty brackets. Then here we are checking if category. Then here we will put here query dot category is equal to category. And here we will check if keyword. We are putting here query dot title is equal to, and here we will use the regular expression for searching for the title on the basis of the whatever the keywords we are putting here. And here we will write $, regex keyword. Then we have the $, options I. And then here we will put the try catch error. Inside the try we will write the query here for the constant news is equal to await news dot find, and we will pass the query here, whatever the query we are creating here. And here we will put the sort order, and we are sorting the all the news on the basis of the created at -1, because we have to sort on the basis of the whatever the latest news we have created, that will be come in the top in the all this in the descending order. And then we have the skip here, that will be used for the pagination purpose. Skip, we are putting a page -1 into limit. Then we have the limit here, and we will pass here parse int limit. Here we will create one variable constant total is equal to await news dot count documents, and we will pass this query. What it will do, it will return us the total number of the result on the basis of this query only. And from here we will return response dot JSON, and here we will create the object here. Here we write success true data, this news we will pass here. Then here we have the current page, we will do here parse int, and we will pass here page variable. Then we have the total pages, and we will pass here mat.seal total divided by limit. Why we are using here mat.seal? It will be used for rounding the whatever the figure we are getting from this calculation, we are rounding it so that we will not return in the decimal. And here we will write total articles, and we will pass this variable totals. And here in the catch we will write here response dot status 500 dot JSON success false message error dot message. So what we did here, we have created one function for the get request, and there we are having the all the variables, that is page, limit, category, and the keywords. Then we are creating the query here on the basis of this category and title. And after that we have the try catch. Inside that we have finding the news on the basis of this query, and then we are just sorting on the basis of the created at. Then we are doing the pagination here with the help of the skip and the limit. And then we have the total variable that will be used for getting the total number of the records we are getting here. And after that we are having the JSON here, and there in the JSON we are having a success. Then we are passing the data, current page, total pages, total articles. And here we have the error, and inside that we are just returning the error message whatever we are getting. So now we will write one more function in the similar way that will be used for the post request for adding the news in our database. And here we have the router dot post slash async request response. Then we have our constant title description content image URL category is equal to request dot body. Here we will write the try catch we have our constant news is equal to await news dot create, and we will pass all the variables here. We will copy this one and we will paste here. And here we have the response dot status 201 that is created JSON, and here we will put here success true data news. Here we are putting here catch error, and here we will write response dot status 500 dot JSON success false message error dot message. So here what we did here, we have created a function for creating the news in our database, and for doing that we are having all the variables here that is required for creating any news, that is title, description, content, image URL and category. And there we are in the try catch, we are just putting here await news dot create, and we are passing all the variables here. It will create the object in our database, and then we are just putting that data into our response with the status code 201, and then in the catch we are just returning the status code 500, and we are returning whatever the error message is. And here we will just do our modules dot export is equal to router, we'll put here colon, and this will be exports. Same we have to check here. Yeah. So now we have to create our index.js file. We will click here index.js, and here we have to import all the packages here, and we will write a constant express. This will be our first package, that will be our express server, and that will be required for creating the server in the Node.js. Here we have the express, then we have the constant body parser is equal to require body parser. Then we have our constant dot n, this will be for our environment. Here we have the require, here we will write dot environment. Then we have the constant connect db is equal to require, and we will link our db file, that is ./config/db. Then we have to put the routers here. We will write here constant news routes is equal to require, and here we have the ./routes/news routes. Then we have to call their .environment.config, and when we do this, then only this environment file will be accessible, else it will not. Then we have to connect our database here. After that we have to create the variable app is equal to express. We have to create the express object here. Then we have to use everything here app.use, and here we will write body parser dot JSON. So if we not do this line, then our JSON API will not work. Then we have our app.use /API/news comma news route. So whatever the route we have given here, like this slash and all, and here we are giving the endpoints here, like when we put here localhost :4500/API/news, and we do the get request, we get the get data here, and when we do the post request, then we are able to post the data to our database. And here also we can do one thing, and here from here we will return all the categories, and for the categories we are not creating any database, we are just returning from our hard-coded categories and all. And we will put here constant categories is equal to, and we will create the array here, and we will create the objects here, name all. Then we have the icon here, icon all. Same way we can copy and we can paste for the other categories. Here we will write technology, and here we will put the icon name as a computer. Here we will put the name as a sports. Icon we will put as a sports_basketball. That will be our icon name in our Flutter. Then we have the category name as a health here, and we will put the icon here as a and the icon name will be our health underscore safety. Then we have our business category, and here we have our icon. We can put anything like as a business icon. Then we have to just return this categories in our API, and for that we will do like app dot get request, and we will put here /API /categories comma request response. Then we have our response.json. Here we have the success true. Then we have the data here, categories. After that we will create one more route that will be just for checking if our API is working or not. We will just copy this one and we will paste here, and we will remove everything here, and from here we will send, and here we will write welcome to news API, and from here we will get the variable for the port. Here we will write here port is equal to process dot environment dot port double colon. Then we have our port number. In case this port variable is not found in our environment file, then it will pick this value, and then we will just start our server. We'll put here app.listen. We'll write here port, and from here we will console write here console.log server running on port, and we will return the port number from here, and we'll put the semicolon here. So what we did here, we have created the index.js file that will be used for our main server file, and there we have all the variables here, and then we are just initializing our .environment.config. Then we are doing the connect database. Then we have our variable for the app with the object for the express server. Then we are just doing the middleware for the body parser. Then we are doing for the routing and all. Then we are creating the API for the categories. Then we have our one small API for checking the API is working or not. Then we are just listening to the port number here, and we are starting the server here. So now what we will do, we will run our application, see is it working or not. We will write here Node.js. So in case you don't have this Node installed, you have to install it in globally so that you can use it. And here we are getting the error required is not defined. We will just go to this, and here we have to remove this D, and we will save it. So now you can see here server running on the port 4500 and MongoDB connected localhost. That means our server is working fine. So now let's see is it working in the browser or not. And what we will do, we will just open the browser here. Here we will write localhost 4500 and we will press the enter here. You can see here we are getting here welcome to news API. In the same way we put here /API/categories and we will press enter. You can see we are getting the data for the categories also, and same way we can do for the news also. We will press enter here. You can see we are getting all the news because in our database we already added the news here. So that's why you can see all the news here. We will do the Flutter part of the application, and first of all we will go to our folder. Here we will write cd app, and here we will create the Flutter project, Flutter create and dot. It will create the Flutter project in our application. You can see the Flutter project is created here. So now we have to add some of the packages. We will go to the pub spec. Here we will add few of the packages. We will paste here all the packages, and the packages which we are using here is HTTP provider for the state payment, cache network image for image caching and all. Then we are using here URL launcher for opening the external link in our application. Then also we are using here share plus for sharing the articles and all. So now we have to go to the lib folder. Inside that we have to create our models here, and for that first of all we will create a folder here, name as a models, and the first model we are going to create is the category underscore model dot file. This model will be used for showing the categories and all, and here it is asking us for run the pubget, and we will click here. It will download all the packages. So here for the category model we will put here class category Inside that we have the two variables, final string name, final string null type of icon. Then here the constructor, that will be category, and we'll pass here required this dot name, this dot icon, because icon is a nullable, that's why we are not putting here required. So after that we will create one method that will be used for JSON parsing and all. Here we will write factory category dot from JSON string comma dynamic JSON, and here we will return here category, and the name we will pass with our JSON name. Make sure these name will be matched with your API variables names. Then here we have the icon here. We will write here JSON icon. So what we did here, we have created one class, that is category class, that will be our model file, and there we have the two variables, name and the icon. Then we are creating here the constructor part. After that we are creating the parser for our JSON to our model file. So now we will create one more model file that will be used for our news, and here we will write news underscore model dot. So here we will create class news. Inside that we will create few of the variables, final string type of title, final string type of description, final string type of content, final string type of image URL. Then we have the final string type of category. After that we have the final date time publish at. Then we have the last variable, that will be final string source. So now we will create the constructor here, news. Here we have the required this dot title. Then we have the required this dot description, required this dot content, required this dot image URL. Then we have the required this dot category. Then we have the required this dot publish at. Then we have the required this dot source. After that we have to create the same type of the parser method for the parsing our JSON with these variables. Here we will write factory news dot from JSON. Here we have the map string dynamic JSON, and from here we will return news. So now here we have to map all the variables. First one will be title. We will write here JSON title. Then we will copy this one and we will paste few of the time. So now here we will change it to description, and we'll copy this one and we will paste here. After that we will do content. We will copy this one and paste here. Then we have the image URL. Copy this one, paste here. Then we have the category. We will copy this one and paste here. Now we will do for the source. We will copy and paste here. Again we will copy this one, paste here, and we will change it to publish at. So now here we have to change here, but now the data is coming in the string. So now our variable is in the date time. So what we will do, we will convert it to date time, and we will write here date time dot parse, and we will pass this value. So now our news model file is also ready. We have the title, description, content, image URL, category, publish at, then the source here. Then here we have the constructor part, and then we have our JSON parser here. So now we will create the service file, and that will be for linking our API with our Flutter application. And here we will go and we will create the folder here. We will name it as a services. Inside that we will create one file and we will name it as a news underscore service dot file. So now here we have to create a class here, class news service. We'll create one variable, static constant string base URL is equal to http://localhost, and we'll put a port number here 4500/API. So that will be our base URL for the API. Now here we have to create the two functions. First one is for fetching the categories, and the second one will be for fetching the news. And here we will write static future. Return type will be list type of category, and that category model which we have created, and we will name it as a fetch categories, and we will make this function as async here. From here we will write here final response is equal to await http.get, and here we have to import import package http/http.dart as http, and we will use this dot get request. Here we have to pass the URI dot parse, and we will write here $, and we have to pass this base URL here, base URL /categories. Here we'll check if response dot status code is equal to 200. Then we will return here final data is equal to JSON dot decode. Here we have to import here library for the dart convert. In the decode we have to pass this response dot body. So whatever the data is coming here, we have to decode that data in the JSON. And from here we will return list type of category dot from. Here we'll pass data dot map JSON category dot from JSON, and we will put a semicolon. So in the else condition we will return here throw exception failed to fetch categories. So what we did here, we have created one function that is fetch category, and we are getting the response by calling the http.getRequest, and we are passing the base URL with the endpoint for the categories, that is categories. And here we are checking if we are getting the status code as a 200. That means we are getting the data from the server. Then we are decoding the response.body, and we are just returning here list of categories from our data. And in the else condition we are throwing the error here. So in the same way we have to do for the fetch news also. We have to just copy this function and we will paste here. We will change this one to news, and we will import here. This one we will change it to fetch news, and this URL we will change it to news. And here we have to pass one variable that will be the category name. Like if we are passing any category ID, then on the basis of that it will fetch that particular news on the basis of that category. If we are not passing that category ID, it will fetch all the news from the API. Here we will write string type of category, and that will be nullable variable. And here we will write $. Then we will put the curly brackets, and here we will check if category is not equal to null. Then we are passing here category is equal to this category dot to lowercase. In the else condition we are not passing any query string here. So what we are doing here, we are just checking here if there is any category ID we are passing from that function name. If that is there, then we are just passing that into the query string of the API, else we are not passing anything. And in the status we are checking here if status 200, then we are returning here list of news from this data. And here also we will change. In the else condition we will put here fail to fetch news. So what we did here, we have created one function that is fetch news, and we are passing the variable category that will be used for getting the news on the basis of that particular category, or we can also fetch all the categories. And here we are just checking the status 200. If it is 200, that means we are getting the data from the server, and we are just doing the decoding here. After that, we are just returning here data, and in the else condition, we are just throwing the error here. So now let's move further, and we will now create a provider file that will be used for storing our data and all. And we will create one function that will be named as a providers. Inside that, we have to create one class here. We will name it as a news_provider.dart file. So now what we have to do, we have to create one class here, class news provider. We will extend it with our with change notifier. So now here we have to create few of the variables. First one will be our list type of category, and we will put here underscore categories is equal to, and we will initialize with the empty array. Same we have to do for the news also. We will change it to news, and this one we have to import. Here we will change it to news list. Then we have to create one more variable that will be string type of nullable underscore selected category. Then we have the bool type of underscore is loading is equal to false. And in the same way, we have to create the getter for all these variables. We will just copy all this. We will paste here, and here we will write get. We will copy this one, and we will put here equal to, and from here we will just remove the underscore, and underscore will be used for the private value. Here we will write in this way. Same we have to do for all the variables. We will put here get, and we'll put here, we will remove underscore. So what it will do, it will just get the value from the private value and make it the setter for all this. Same way we have to do for this one also, and for this variable also get, and we will remove this underscore, and we will remove this default value also. So now we have to create two functions here. First one is for getting the category, and second one is for getting the news. We will write here future void fetch categories async. Here we write try, and here we write catch. Here we will write the underscore categories is equal to await news service dot fetch categories, and from here we will just print here whatever the error we are getting here, and we will write here error fetching categories, and we show the error message here. So what we are doing here, we have created a function that is fetch category, and this is the just the void type of return type, and because inside it we are just setting the categories variable with the verb fetch categories that is getting the data from the API. In the same way, we will copy this one and we will paste here. We will change it to fetch news. Here we have to set some of the variable. Before that, we have to also pass here category ID, category. Here we have to set the value for our variable that is loading true. Then we have underscore selected category is equal to this category. Then we will call here notify listener. It will update these values. Inside the try catch, we will put here news list is equal to await news service dot fetch news, and here we have to pass this variable category, and we will map with this variable here. And here we have the finally, and there we have to set the value for is loading false, and here we will put notify listener. So what it will do, once all the data is returned from the API, then after that in the last it will just make this loader as a false. That means the data is all loaded, so no need to show any loader and all. Here we will pass the notify listener so that it will update the UI and all. In the same way for the error also, we will put here news. So what we did here, we have created a function that is fetch news, and there we have the variable category, and after that we are just setting the value for this loader selected category, and we are just putting the notify listener. After that we have the try catch, and inside that we are having a news list, and there we are just fetching the news from the API. In the catch we are just returning error here. After that, in the finally, we are just making the is loading false, so that it will change the state of the loader and all. So now let's move further, and now we will do the UI part. So now we will do our UI design, and for that, first of all, we have to create a folder here, and we will name it as a screens. And so that we have to create one file that will be news_screen.dart file, and here we have to make the stateful widget stateful, and we will name this page as a new screen. Now here we have to call the provider here, and for that we have to create the function void initialize state, and we will override this function, and here we will write super dot initialize state, and here we have to write final news provider is equal to provider of news provider, and we have to import here, and we have to pass a context listen true, and we have to call here news provider dot fetch categories. First we will fetch all the categories, and then we will call here news provider dot fetch news, and we will not provide any category here, we will fetch all the news here. So now what will happen when we run our application? So it might give the error for calling this notify listener and all in the initialize state. So how to handle this? We have to just put this code under this function, that is widget binding dot instance dot add post frame callback. Inside that we will call this function, we will cut this all this code, and we will paste here. Here we will put semicolon. So now what we have to do here in the build, we have to return here scaffold widget, and we can also side by side open the UI also. And before doing that, we have to go to our main.dart file. Here we have to remove all the unnecessary code. We will remove this code. Here we will change it to new screens. We'll remove this title, and here also we will remove all the comments, and we have to change this return type to multi-provider because we are using here provider, and here we will add array change notifier provider, and this create, we will write here news provider, and here we will remove this bracket, and here we will write child, and from here we will put the close bracket here. So now we will run our application C, and before doing that we have to also run our API also. So now our API is running. So here the app is running, but we are getting some error. So let's see where the issue is. So here we have to make it false. We will rerun the application. So now you can see application is running here. So now here we will add the UI and all. We will make it scaffold widget. After that we will put the app bar here, and we will create one function that will be build app bar, and from here return type will be app bar. From here we will return app bar background color colors dot white color elevation 0 title text field, because in the app bar we are going to put that search bar and all. We'll put here decoration input decoration and text search. Here we will add the icon also, prefix icon icons dot search icon. Color we are using here colors dot gray color for the icon. You can see in the UI also side by side. Then we have to put the border here, and we are using here outline border, outline input border, border radius we are using here border radius dot circular 30. Then we have the border side. We are using here border side dot none. You can see border is not showing here. And fill, we are using it true. You can see now the design. And the fill color, we are using a colors dot gray color with 200. You can see it is the light color. And here we can put a constant. So now we will move further here, and here we will put the body, and in the body we are using a consumer because we have to use the provider here, and that consumer will be used for using the provider here, so that if there will be any change in the any of the code of that provider, it will automatically reflect in the UI. Consumer news provider. And then here we have the builder. We are using a context news provider child. From here we will return news provider dot is loading. Then we will show the circular progress indicator here, and we are using a center widget for that. Child circular progress indicator. In the else condition, we will use the single child scroll view. Inside that we have the child, and we will use a padding here. Edge insert dot all 16. And here child we are using a column widget. Here we have the cross axis alignment, and we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. And here we have the children's here, and we have to create our widgets here. First widget will be for showing the categories, and we will put here name as a build categories section, and we'll pass here news provider as a variable. And now we will create this function, and here return type will be widget. We have to move this inside the class file, and from here we will return size box, and the height we are giving here 60. Then here we have the child here, and we are using a news provider dot categories is empty. Then we will show here center widget child circular progress indicator. In the else we will use the list view, and we are using a list view dot builder. Here we have the scroll direction, and we are using a axis dot horizontal. Then we have the item count, and we are putting a news provider dot categories dot length. Then we have the item builder. We have the context index, and here we have to create the object for this category. Category is equal to news provider dot categories, and we have to pass the index here. And here also we can show is selected variable. Is selected is equal to here if category dot name is equal to news provider dot selected category, then we will make this variable as a true. And from here we will return padding, and we are using a edge insert dot all 8. Then here we have the child, and we have the gesture detector. We have the on tap event, and here we have the news provider dot fetch news. Like if we click on any of the category, it will just call the news provider for fetching the news on the basis of that particular category. And here we will pass category dot name is equal to all. Then we will pass as a null. Else we will pass here category dot name. Then here we have the child here, and we are using a that chip widget. Background color we are using a is selected. Then we are using a colors dot purple color. Else we are using a colors dot gray color 200. Here we have the label. We're using a text widget, and we'll pass here category dot name. Style we are using a text style. Color on the basis of whatever the category is selected, we will change the color here. If is selected, then we will make the color as a white color. else we will make the color as a black color for the category. We will save here and we will reload the application again. You can see here we are getting all the categories here. When we click any of the category, it will hit the API for fetching the news. So now we will continue here. After that, we will put some spacing here, size box, height 10. After that, we will show the news here. And for doing that, we will put here news provider dot news list dot is not empty. Then we will show with build latest news card. Here we'll pass news provider dot news list dot first. So we have to show here the latest news here. Only the first news we will show here. In the else condition, we will show here empty state for showing the text, like if there is no news coming from the API, then we will show here no news available. And for that also we will create one function, build empty state, and we'll pass the message here, no news available. So now we have to create both the functions here, method, and we will return type as a visit here. From here we will return container. Padding we are using here edge insert dot all 16. Then we have the decoration and we are using a box decoration. Color we are using a colors dot purple color 100. Then we have the border radius and we are using a border radius dot circular 16. And then here we have the child here and we are using a column wizard. And here we have the cross axis alignment and we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. Then we have the children's here and we are using a text widget. We'll show with the news dot. Here we will rename it to news dot title. Then here we have the style and we're using here text style, font size 18, font weight we are using a font weight dot bold. Then we have the color here, we are using a colors dot purple color 800. We will save here, we change it to colon here. And now we have to create this function also. From here we will return center widget. Child we are using a text widget. We'll pass this message, this variable name as a message here. And style we are using here text style. Color we are using colors dot gray color. We'll save it and we will reload the application again. You can see we are getting here no news available. Now let's click on this one. So we are not getting any news. Let's debug and see where the issue is. We'll go to our provider and here we will put the debugger. In the API also we will put debugger here and let's see. We will reload and here we are getting the response. We are getting the data here, but that is not coming in the provider. Now let's debug here. These are data. If we return from here, categories we are getting here, news we are not getting here. So now let's see in the provider here. Here we are getting the error. We are getting type null is not type of string. So now let's see where the issue is. So here seem to be the issue in the variable name. It should be in the lowercase. Now let's reload the application, see is it working or not. So no error is coming now. Let's click on any category. No data is coming. Let's see again where the issue is. So some of the description and content is coming as a null here. So we have to do the handling for that also. So here we will do the handling for that null label and all. We will remove this required, this required also. And we'll make these as a null label here. We'll save and reload the application, see it's working or not. So now we are getting the news here. That means it is working fine now. So now let's move further, and before doing that we can also click on any of the category. You can see news are getting changed on the basis of the category here. So after this latest news we can add more here. We can also put the section here. First we will put the spacing here. After that we will put here underscore build section with action, and we'll pass some of the variable. Before doing that, we will create the function here. Here we will pass two variables. First one will be title. Then we have the optional action text. Then we have here void callback on action tab. From here we will return a row widget. Then we have the main axis alignment, and we are using a main axis alignment dot space between. Here we have the children's, and first we have to create the section here. We will write here name. This title we will put here. Style we are using here text style. Font size 23. Then we have the font weight dot bold. After that we will check here if action text is not equal to null. Then we'll put here gesture detector on tab on action tab. The child we are using here text widget with the text we are passing here action text. Style we are using here text style. Color we are using a colors dot blue color. Here we have to remove this curly brackets. We'll save here, and from here we will put the title here around the word, and the action text we will put here see all. If required to give any page for showing more news, we can also put the action here, but we are not covering that part. Now you can see we are getting a title, the see all. After that we will put the horizontal news list here, and before doing that we have to put some spacing here, paste here. After that we will build here build horizontal news list news provider, and we will create this function here, create method. Now from here we will return size box height 200. Then we have the child here, and we are using a list view builder. Here we have to put scroll direction, and we are using as axis dot horizontal. After that we have the item count, and we are putting here news provider dot news list dot length. Then we have the item builder, and we are putting a context index, and here we have the final news is equal to news provider dot news list dot news list, and we will pass here index here, and from here we will return gesture detector, or we can create one new widget here. We can name it as a build around the word card, and we will create here. From here we will pass news. Here we have the build context, and from here we will return gesture detector on tap event. That we will cover later on when we design our news detail page. Here we have the child, and we are using a container, and here we will pass width 150. Margin we are using a constant. Here we will pass as insert dot only right 16. Then we have the decoration, and we are using a box decoration. Here we have the border radius, and we are using a border radius dot circular 16. Then we have the image here, and we are using a decoration image, and we are using a network image, and we will pass the news dot image URL. And here we are using here fit box fit dot cover. Then we have the child here, and we are using a container decoration. We are using a box decoration. Border radius we are using a border radius dot circular 16. Then we have the gradient color. We are using a linear gradient, and the colors we are using a two color. First one is a colors dot black color dot with opacity 0.6. Then we have the colors dot transparent color. Then we have the begin. We are using a alignment dot bottom center, and we are using a alignment dot top center. After that we are having a padding here, and we are using a edge insert dot all 8. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column widget. Cross axis alignment, we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. Main axis alignment, we are using a main axis alignment dot end. After that we have the children's here. We will pass here text widget, and we'll put here news dot title. And style we are using here text style. Color we are using a colors dot white color. Font weight we are using a font weight dot bold. And for the max line we are using here 2. And for the overflow we are using a text overflow dot ellipsis dot ellipsis. Then we have to put some spacing here. We will use a constant size box height 4. Then we will use the text widget for showing the category name news dot category. Style we are using a text style. Color colors dot white 70. We'll save here, and we will call this function from here, and here we'll pass this news and context here. We'll save here. Now we will reload the application again. We are getting error for that network if image is null here. So what we will do, we'll put here empty, and let's see. You can see here we are getting the news here in the horizontal. Now if I change to different category, you will see the news are getting changed here. So now let's move further, and we will create the detail page. When we click on any news, it will show the detail page here. So now we will create the news detail page. When we click on any of the news, it will just open a detail page. So we will go to the screen folder, and here we will write news underscore details screen dot file. So here we will create the stateless widget, and we will write here STL, and here we will write news detail screen. So now here we have to pass variable final news, and we will import this model, and we will put in the constructor also. We will write here key required this dot news. Here we have super key. So here in the build we will create the scaffold widget. Here we have the app bar. Here we will write app bar. Title we are using here text widget. We will make it as empty here. Then we have the action here, and we will write two icons here. Icon button. On press we are not giving anything, and the icon we are using here icons dot share icon. Then we will copy this one, and we will paste here. We will change it to bookmark icon bookmark underscore border. We'll save here, and before doing that we will go to our news page, and from there we will redirect to this page so that we can see the side-by-side design also. So here we have to go to our this method, and here in the on type event we have to write here navigator dot push. Here we have the context material page route, and builder we will pass here context news detail screen, and we will pass this news from here, and we will save it. So here what we will do, we will click any of the news here. You can see this is opening now. Now we will design our page. So after that we will write the body here. We pass a single child scroll view. Here we will pass the child padding, and here we have the edge inset dot all 16. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column widget, cross-axis alignment, and we are using a dot start. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a row widget. Then we have the main axis alignment, and we are using it here main axis alignment dot space between. Then we have the children's here, and first we will create the chip here. In the label we are using a text, and we are passing here news dot category. We will save here. You can see category name is coming now. Here we can put the style also, and we are using a text style. Color, we are using a colors dot purple color 800. After that we will use the text widget. Here we are going to put the publish date. We will write here $sign news, and before that we will put the curly brackets news dot publish at dot to local. You can see date is coming now, and here we will do the style. Here we'll put here text style. Color, we are using a colors dot gray color, and the font size we are using a 12. After that we will give some spacing here. We will come outside the row widget, and here we will give some spacing. Size box, height 10. After that we will put the title of the news. We will write here news dot title, and the style we are using a text style. Color, we are using a colors dot gray color. Then we have the font size, and we are using a 14. After that we will put some spacing here. Then again we will copy this one and we will paste here. We'll change it to source, and this one we have to change the font size to 22 and the font weight bold. After that we have to give some spacing again. Now we will show the image here. We are going to use the clip rect widget, and border radius we are giving here border radius dot circular, border radius circular 16. After that we have the child here, and we are using a image dot network image, and we are putting here news dot image URL. Fit, we are using a box fit cover, and the width we are using a double dot infinity. Then we have the height here, and we are using a 200. Now you can see it's looking very nice now. After that again we will give some spacing here and save, and now we will show the content here. We will just copy this one and we will paste here. We will change it to content, and the font size we will change it to 16, and the height we are using a 1.5, and this one will make it. Now you can see when we click here, you can see category, date, then we have the title, source, image, then we have the content here. If we go back and if we try to open a different category, and if I click here, you can see we are getting the title, source, image, and the content of the news here. So I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching the video.